sailing. And rejoining us is Kurt Hall. How's everybody doing tonight, gentlemen?
Fantastic.
Doing wonderful.
Great. Awesome. So tonight we're going to focus on the summer movies, what we think about them, and, what we think is going to be worth seeing. And I'm going to go ahead and let Taylor take that away.
Alrighty. So the reason, just for a little preface to this episode, the reason why I wanted to do this is because I think there's just so many, from the looks of things, we'll see how it turns out in the end, but there's just so many, looks like there's a lot of good films coming out. There's a lot of different genres. There's some horror in there. There's a lot of sci-fi in there. There's, of course, a lot of action. Summer's always action movies. But there's also some interesting dramas. But the movie we are going to start with is one that I think all of us are highly anticipating, and anybody that's a Marvel fan in general. And, of course, I'm talking about Iron Man 3. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen all the trailers, and we've been inundated with the marketing. And we talked about this a little bit before. I'll leave it at this, but I'm just super excited to see Shane Black take on a big action superhero movie, a big budget, because he's the type of director that deserves it. He's a great writer, and from what I've seen in his first movie, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, he's a pretty competent director. So I want to know what you guys think about everything we've seen so far in this movie.
I'm pumped. I love Shane Black. I think he's awesome. I loved Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I thought he works really good with the dynamic of Robert Downey Jr. and the attitude that is Robert Downey Jr. I hope he brings his kind of humor into the movie, because I think the trailers make it look really serious. So I kind of hope Marvel kind of keeps that kind of fun aspect to their movies, because I think that's what makes them a little more fun than other DC movies. But yeah, I'm really excited for this movie. Just the fact that there's like 32 different Iron Man suits. It's going to be huge. It's going to be loud. It's going to be action-packed. And it's going to be like the Avengers, only with Iron Man instead. And I'm pumped.
I really love Iron Man. I've always had love for Iron Man growing up as a kid, from the comic book to the little animated cartoon that was on television, even though a lot of people didn't really care for it that much. But when I heard that Iron Man 3 was being done and they're putting the Mandarin in it, like, oh man, I was so pumped for it. I really liked the first two films. I thought they were really great. I really felt like they got the casting done perfectly. Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark is just, oh man, he's just so incredible. But really, I'm really looking forward to seeing it. I saw the first one in theaters. The second one I did not get an opportunity to go see in theaters. I was sad about that. But this one I definitely am going to go check out in the theaters. I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, I have to agree with your sentiment there. Except for you saying Iron Man 2, I think that movie's a freaking train wreck, dude. I think you can agree with me, Kurt. That movie, this is a mess. Yeah, it's a lot of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff.
Yeah.
I understand they had to shoehorn the Avengers. They had to put Avengers stuff in there, which really they are kind of shoehorning it. But, I still like parts of that movie, but I think that's one of those movies I built up a lot of hype for, like I am for Iron Man 3. And I was really let down by 2, and I just hope I don't have the same experience with 3. I just really hope that it lives up to the movie I built up in my head so far, which most of the time movies don't. But we'll see what happens.
I can agree with you on saying that a lot of things in number 2 was a train wreck, because it really was. But really, I still enjoyed it, because I just really enjoyed it overall, because, even though there were a few things about it that, made it the train wreck that it really was, I still really liked it. Not as good as the first one. The first one was great. But I'm really, really pumped for number 3. I just hope this doesn't take the Sam Raimi Spider-Man route. I'm hoping.
Yeah. I feel the same way about 2. I think Iron Man 2 is really fun, and it kind of keeps the things I like about Marvel movies, but it also kind of throws characters in there that don't belong, and that really bothered me. But it still remains a fun superhero movie, and that's kind of the point of superhero movies. So
Yeah. Exactly. I have to agree. There's stuff to like in Iron Man 3, but I think we can put this discussion to bed. We've said enough. I'm sure you guys can be expecting a review of Iron Man 3 as soon as it comes out, because I know we're all going to be seeing it. So we'll set that one down for now. But so moving on, Iron Man comes out May 3rd, for those of you that don't know. And then the next week, a movie, one of those dramas I was talking about that's kind of an interesting move for the summer crowd, and that is Baz Luhrmann's adaptation of The Great Gatsby. What do you guys think about this movie? Are you excited and not going to see it? What are your thoughts?
I am excited to a point. I like Baz Luhrmann. I feel like he's never made an actual great movie because his storytelling style is kind of sloppy. But this movie looks beautiful, and it has a great cast. So I'm in it for that level, but I've also read The Great Gatsby. It's a boring-ass book, and I am interested to see whether they can bring it to life and actually make it more than just rich people whining about having money and having first-world problems. I hope it's better than that.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I don't think that's something America is really something that America really doesn't want to see in their movies right now. Is kind of like you said, rich people whining about how rich they are. But I will say one of the things that kind of troubles me about this movie, and I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but when they put, I saw the trailer, and this movie looks like at least it has a decent amount of CGI. But in particular, when they put CGI in period movies, so it's supposed to be the 30s, and you can tell that it has a modern feel and a modern look to it. So I think that's one of the things that really is kind of driving me away from the film. I might see it if I hear it's really, really good. And of course, Carey Mulligan's in this, Leonardo DiCaprio. So there's a lot of stars. Tobey Maguire coming back to the Spider-Man movies there. Your beloved trilogy there, Tommy. But so I don't know. This movie is I think it's really going to depend on what word of mouth says for me.
I think this is going to be a movie that you're going to have to probably see in the theaters. And therein lies a problem with me. A lot of movies, there are some movies that you really just have to see in theaters, but sometimes I feel like I don't know. It's weird for me because you guys know that I hate CGI. I really hate CGI. And going back to what you're saying with it being a period, a time period film, it really bothers me when they do this. This goes back to saying, go and find the stuff that you need, make the set,
find that country castle in France that you can turn into the house where they're at. It just, the CGI just seems a little, I can understand certain points like backgrounds and doing things like that, matte paintings, but it just seems a little excessive. So, I don't know, I guess, like you said, we'll see.
I'll probably end up skipping it in theaters, and it might be a very long time before I see it in general. I like Leonardo DiCaprio, but I'll probably just pass.
Yeah. Okay. So
I just hope.
Go ahead.
I just hope the film ends up using Carey Mulligan correctly. I hate when you take a great actress and turn her into this damsel in distress, and she doesn't have she just kind of whines the whole time. Don't do what you did in Oz the Great and Powerful. Let her be a strong character in her own right.
Wait, Carey Mulligan wasn't in Oz the Great and Powerful, was she?
No, I'm talking about all the witches in Oz the Great and Powerful.
I thought you were saying she was in it.
And how poorly they were written.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, I have to admit. Okay, so moving on. One of the most anticipated movies for me this summer, personally, and that is the sequel to the 2009 reboot. That just sounds funny. Of Star Trek. It's called Star Trek Into Darkness. It comes out May 17th. Kurt, I want to know what you have to say about Star Trek. Are you a fan? What did you think of J.J. Abrams' reboot, and are you looking forward to this?
I'm not into the old Star Trek TV show. I think it's kind of boring. That being said, J.J. Abrams did a great job on the first Star Trek movie and made me a fan of his modern take on it. And I am pumped for this movie. I love Chris Pine. I love Zachary Quinto. Zoe Saldana even makes me want to watch this movie, and I don't even like her as an actress. Just everything about the Star Trek world of J.J. Abrams looks beautiful. You got just so many cool actors in this movie. Khan's going to be the villain. I mean, seriously, they just want me to spend a lot of money on this movie.
I'll spend it. Gladly.
Yeah. I have to agree. I think it's a pretty inspired choice to cast Benedict Cumberbatch, which is a mouthful in itself, and he's not really a lot of people. Yes, he's got the most awesome name ever, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Well,
you got to use that like English accent,
I love him in Sherlock. If you haven't seen BBC's version of Sherlock,
he's
phenomenal.
He's most famous from that, and he's also for you Hobbit fans out there, he's going to be playing Smaug in the Desolation of Smaug in the third movie. And I know I'm mispronouncing the name, but I'm not a Hobbit fan, so. But yeah, I have to say it's a pretty inspired choice to choose this guy for a main villain. But you guys are saying he's Khan. Has it been confirmed yet, or you're just assuming that it's Khan?
It's kind of like subtle things, like it's from what I heard, like from what I've seen in the previews, it's kind of like this. They play this chess match with this guy, this unknown agent, and the original Khan in the episode that he was in, he had to be beaten with a game of chess. That's how they beat him in the first. Kind of weird if you haven't seen it. It sounds really stupid. Be saying it, but essentially it's something you have to go back and watch. But when it comes right down to it, I'm really pumped for this film. It already has my money. It might have my money twice. I really enjoyed the first one. I did feel like the first one was kind of cheap almost, but I really feel like this one's gonna be really awesome. I'm hoping that maybe and this is a very big wish, but I'm hoping maybe when J.J. Abrams is done with this Star Trek, that he will move on into the next generation, because I would love to see his take on that.
It'd be interesting.
I'm a huge Next Generation fan, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have to agree. Back on on Star Trek Into Darkness, one more thing I wanted to point out is I tried to stay away from a lot of the trailers for this movie, just because I wanted to go in fresh. It's one of those movies I already knew I was going to be seeing even when I first heard about it 4 years ago. And the trailers, man, they just look so dark. I mean, a good way to describe the trailers, I don't know. I mean, because like you said, Iron Man 3 looks dark, and it could have the trailers, they can paint whatever they want, whatever kind of picture of the movie they want. But this movie looks like The Empire Strikes Back. I mean, well, Wrath of Khan was really The Empire Strikes Back, but this one looks to be, kind of that cliffhanger, the villain taking down the heroes, and it just looks awesome. I mean, I love those kinds of stories, where sometimes the heroes don't come out on top and they learn lessons, and that's real good character development in some cases, And I just hope this movie stays character focused like the first one,
With you saying that, I can really I can really totally agree with you on that. And it may even go to where the next Star Trek movie may even be just a retelling of the Wrath of Khan. I mean, this one already seems like the Wrath of Khan, but then again, we don't know how the story shapes. So but this goes back to even if you did, this goes back to the J.J. Abrams thing. Even if you did watch the trailer, you didn't get anything. So, he didn't really give you a lot of anything. And I really, I've said it before, I'll say it again, probably say it a million times over. I really appreciate it. I mean, but I think we've covered this one. We could sit here all night and talk about Star Trek.
I do want to.
Go ahead.
I do want to throw this
Go
out
ahead.
too. I think J.J. Abrams is the best secret keeper for movies ever.
Yep.
Seriously, look back at the marketing for Super 8.
Yeah.
There was nothing that you knew about that movie going into it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
One of the greatest movie trailers I ever watched, because I didn't know a damn thing about the movie, and that's the way I want to keep it.
Yeah.
Even trying to find hints of anything on the movie on the internet was impossible. It's like if you posted anything on Wikipedia, he shut it down. I mean, so which was great. But
all right,
let's move on.
All right, so that of course comes out May 17th, and the next weekend, May 24th, following that one, is going to be pretty darn jam-packed, if you ask me. And a lot of these weekends, there's sometimes 2 or 3 films that are coming out that are, in my opinion, going to be worth seeing. So the 24th, we have 2 movies coming out, which the Fast and Furious 6 is coming out, the sequel to Fast 5 and all the other ones. And we also have The Hangover Part III. So this is going to be a real interesting weekend to see who wins as far as box office is concerned, because Star Trek's going to be in theaters. You're going to have these. Next weekend there's new stuff coming out. Are either of you guys going to be excited for one of these or both?
I'm excited for one of them.
Which one?
Oh, that'd be Fast 6. Fast 6 looks so ridiculously over the top, and it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
But I can't wait for it. Any movie with Vin Diesel and The Rock and them beating people up and driving cars through planes, I'm in. Like, you can't do any better than this for me.
I mean, I have to agree. I like the choice to put to bring Gina Carano into the mix, and with Michelle Rodriguez coming back, it's going to be kind of like a ultimate chick badass woman fight within the same movie, just like they had, with The Rock and Vin Diesel and Fast 5. So I think Justin Lin, he's got the formula down pretty pat for these movies. He's obviously, this is his 4th one. So, but yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. Are either of you guys excited for Hangover 3, or do you just not care?
Skip both of them.
I hate the Hangover series, so
Really?
I'm gonna just.
All right. Well, moving on then. I'm probably going to be seeing both, just because of my curiosity for both of them. So that's all I'll say about that. I'm sure that when that time comes, we'll be reviewing.
I do want to throw out one thing about Hangover 3, if possible.
Yeah, go ahead.
Any trailer that has a giraffe getting decapitated in it, way to turn me off from your movie immediately.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. It's like, did they really just go there? Oh, yeah, they did.
Well, they have to go somewhere, because number 2 was really like it. So I guess now it's just going to be incredibly offensive, gross comedy. I'll skip it. I'll skip them both. I don't care about Fast or Furious or 5 or whatever it's called. And I don't care about Hangover 3. Oh my God, we did it again. I'll pass on. Yeah, I mean, that's how it feels. It's like, stop.
Okay, so moving on. The next weekend, which is the 31st, the one movie I'm really interested in seeing here is the new magician heist movie called Now You See Me. Have either of you guys heard of this movie?
I ran across it, but I didn't really look into it. So
okay.
I mean, I was reviewing the movies earlier. It was one the name sounded kind of cheesy to me. So it might be something I look into a little bit later. But I haven't really heard anything for it right now. So
everything on paper for Now You See Me kind of turns me away. But
really,
the trailer totally pulled me in, and it looks really crazy. And I think that is something that'll pull me in a summer movie time frame.
Yeah.
I really love Jesse Eisenberg. I think he's awesome.
Yes.
And just the cast is really good. It's not big name people. It's a bunch of people making a name for themselves, which is a good way to pull me into a movie also.
Well, I don't know.
There's
some pretty big names in there.
There is, but from what I hear, I think they play pretty small roles. Like,
yeah, that's
Morgan
true. I mean,
Freeman's a
yeah,
pretty
you
tiny
got Morgan
role.
Freeman. That's like a Michael Caine not Inception. Well, he had a small role in that, but a Prestige role. You also have Woody Harrelson. We have Mark Ruffalo, Michael Caine. You have Dave Franco in this. Elias Koteas, who's one of those character actors that I absolutely love. He's just absolutely delightful in everything he's in. And of course, Isla Fisher. So I mean, even though it's small parts, it's going to be a pretty jam-packed cast, as far as big name people and supporting roles. But go on with what you're saying. I just wanted to let the viewers know kind of what's going on with this thing.
I don't know. I think it looks really intriguing, and I think that's something that a trailer needs to do. That and I got to know how they pull this heist off. That trailer just pulled me in there.
Yeah. I have to agree.
I'll have to check this out because I'm kind of uneducated on this. You guys are like, showing me this whole new world here that I haven't even, like I said, the name popped up and I looked at it and I was like, oh, sounds interesting. That's about I'll have to look into it. I'll catch the trailer when the podcast is done though, so I can.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about this, I don't know if you guys know who directed this. A gentleman named Louis Leterrier. He's a French director. He directed most recently the Clash of the Titans remake, which I know is just absolutely beloved by many people. But he also did the Incredible Hulk, which I thought he. I thought he did
another bad movie.
Yeah. No, but he also did the Transporter movies. He did Unleash Danny the Dog. That's a great movie. So this guy was saying on a recent set visit on one of the websites I was reading, he said this is the best script he'd ever read. One of the best scripts he's ever read. Now I don't know if this guy is just BSing, but that gives me a lot of confidence because I think Louis Leterrier is one of those directors that is only as good as the script that he's directing. So I have a little more confidence in this movie after hearing that. But I think I don't know unless go ahead.
I never actually looked at him as much of a great director until I realized how much better he is than Olivier Megaton in Transporter 3.
And Taken 2. And Taken 2.
Like David Fincher.
Transporter 3 was an abortion. Like I can't even. And I know that's an offensive word, but that's basically what it is. Like, let's see, what can we do there? Well, let's get the guy from Prison Break as the bad guy because everybody loves that dude. And then, I'm not going to go any further.
Okay, we gotta get off bad movies and on summer movies here. So, coming out in the first week of June on the 7th is a movie I'm curious about, but I don't think I'm going to see it unless there's just absolutely great word of mouth for it, and that's M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong's After Earth, starring Jaden and Will Smith. I can tell, Tommy, you're not interested. Kurt, what do you think about this movie?
I'm actually intrigued. Call me crazy, but every time an M. Night movie comes out, I watch it, and
you like
half the time I get totally screwed over by this theory, but I'm kind of intrigued by this one. Plus, there's something cool about a father and a son doing a movie together. I think that should be fun to watch. Yeah. And anything's got to be better than The Last Airbender.
Oh my God! Hey, you talk about seeing every Shyamalan movie in theaters. I saw that in 3D, no less, and I learned a hard lesson that day, but I never forgot it. So never. Oh my God, that movie is freaking. That movie is the definition, the textbook definition of train wreck. I know. Hey, I was just out to see everything I could at that point.
I don't consider it punishment. Like, the guy did The Sixth Sense and Signs. These movies are awesome.
Okay,
Signs,
now let's continue from those two. Yeah. And I like Unbreakable. I like The Sixth Sense, and I like Signs. But everything after that was just.
Do we not need to bring up The Happening again here, guys? Come on, this is like a recurring thing.
Oh God, we've done enough.
That movie doesn't exist.
It's the Voldemort of movies.
All right, so you're saying
it is the Voldemort of movies. Just While he's choked up, I'm going to go ahead and just say that this movie just looks like Oblivion, just with Will Smith and his son. And, you know, a lot of people like Will Smith, and I don't really have a problem per se with Will Smith. I just don't want to watch his movies or listen to his music. I just don't care about Will Smith. And, you know, I mean, he's done movies that I've really enjoyed. You know, he did, you know, Men in Black. I really enjoyed that. He did Men in Black, which I also really enjoyed. He did, what else has he done?
That's the funny thing is recently, I mean, Will Smith is a big box office draw, but recently he hasn't done anything. I mean, when he made Men in Black 3, that was his first movie in 4 years, so it seems like he's trying to put his kids more in the limelight than he is.
I can't remember anything he's really done. Like, I mean, I liked I Am Legend, I guess. I liked it. Like, I'm not going to say it, you know, I'm not going to say it was, you know, everything that I ever wanted to see, and it was, once again, a CGI, you know, I just can't remember anything he ever does. Like, I can't. I don't know what it is. He just doesn't do anything that sticks out in my mind.
I think my theory on that is that he kind of plays the same role in every movie. He tends to do he tries to be the hero, and he's never a bad guy, and that always bothers me. I think he never challenges himself as an actor, and I think that's why a lot of Will Smith movies instantly turn me off.
Yeah, well, he makes really, very, you know, very
he's
safe
really
choices.
In what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, he's really comfortable in what he does, and I'll hand him that. If it works for him, it works for him, you know, because he knows he's got that box office draw, like you were saying. And, you know, that's something he doesn't want to get away from. You know, why would I stop doing, you know, the thing that makes me the money, even if it's really terrible, you know? I'm not going to say he's really made anything that's just downright, you know, just downright terrible, but he's made some pretty bad movies that I just don't care about, and I don't know. Let's get off of Oblivion Part 2.
Yeah.